Comrade Kamala Harris and the communist left have also destroyed the economy and the quality of life all across this state and all across our country. As vice president, what she's done to our country is not even thinkable. California has the highest inflation, the highest taxes, the highest gas prices, the most illegal aliens, the most regulations, the most expensive utilities, and it ranks as the third worst state to start a business. It also has the most people leaving it.
I'm Vince for RTM News. If you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. So today, President Trump took a very interesting visit to the state of California. We'll talk about it in a second, but first, I want to contextualize and begin this video by showing you something that highlights the current condition of California. So check it out. Unbelievable, as you can see. If you ever needed anything that symbolizes just California nowadays, there it is right now. You have the Hollywood Walk of Fame, okay, one of the most famous kind of places in the whole United States, California, big tourist attraction there. And how are they taking care of it? By allowing homeless people to literally, I would call it sleeping, but I don't think it's very sleeping. It's more like passed out from drugs right on top of the Hollywood stars. And nobody in the state thinks to themselves, maybe this is not really a great look for us, right? And I think that's especially the chance that Trump has to highlight in visiting California is, on one hand, yes, in itself, it's already a power move. California is obviously Kamala Harris's home state. It already says enough that you're going to show up there kind of in her own backyard, do this press conference. But on top of that, it's a unique opportunity to highlight the very insane and dangerous policies that have ruined this state and turned it into what it is. And by the way, you don't think Kamala Harris herself has been accountable and responsible for some of that insane craziness throughout the years? You would be mistaken there. Because, spoiler alert, she absolutely has contributed to that far left insanity that now runs her state.
When I was Attorney General, I learned that the California Department of Corrections, which was a client of mine, I didn't get to choose my clients.
Right, a client of the Attorney General.
A client of the Attorney General, right, of the Office of Attorney General, that they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need. And I believe it was not only, I know it was historic in California, but I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country, where I pushed for that policy in a Department of Corrections.
Oh, so there she is on camera admitting to it, right? Taxpayer-funded transition surgeries for prisoners. Okay, this is obviously something that Trump brought up in the debate, and all the liberals said, he's crazy, and what is he even talking about? No, there she was, okay, contributing to a lot of the modern insanity, whether it's the social stuff or the crime, whatever it is, in the state of California. Now, you may have missed, but this year, Gavin Newsom suddenly, at the very last minute, has decided he wants to start implementing common sense policies. You may have heard about a month ago, he finally said, he's only been governor, folks, for 6 years, and finally now he's saying, we're gonna fight the homelessness, we're gonna do something about this, we're gonna clean up the streets. You see how that's going? Look at the Hollywood Walk of Fame, not exactly doing a great job, but this is what he's saying. And now, apparently, as of just today, Gavin Newsom is going to be signing a bill that will resume the harsh penalties for smash and grab robberies in the state of California. So you know those people that come in and shoplift a bunch of stuff, but it's under $900, so they're not prosecuted for it. Newsom now, finally, after years of this stuff happening, is suddenly saying he wants to do something about it, even though he's the one who largely allowed it to continue in the first place. Now, of course, I couldn't possibly imagine the reason why he's doing that right now. It could have nothing to do with the fact that it is obviously an election year, and not only do the Democrats not want the stereotype of California to be used against them, but even so, on top of that, suddenly this is all now just starting because guess what? The Democrat nominee is now from California. So now Gavin Newsom, this scumbag, after years of allowing it to happen, suddenly now he's like, no, guys, we're gonna be tough on crime. We're gonna fight homelessness in the state of California. Yeah, President Trump was in California today, and newsflash, he is not buying any of that, and neither should the American people.
Comrade Kamala Harris and the communist left have also destroyed the economy and the quality of life all across this state and all across our country. As his vice president, what she's done to our country is not even thinkable. California has the highest inflation, the highest taxes, the highest gas prices, the most illegal aliens, the most regulations, the most expensive utilities, and it ranks as the third worst state to start a business. It also has the most people leaving it. I love this place. Look at this. I own this. No partners, no mortgage, no nothing. I own it. And I'm talking so badly about the state. It hurts me to do it. I would never do this except for the fact that I'm running for president and I want to save the country. So I'd rather sacrifice this than lie or not speak. But think of it. I'm knocking the hell out of the state of California. I'm saying how bad she was and what a bad job she's done. What a horrible governor Newsom has been. He's been horrible. So many people leaving. And I'm hurting my own property. And that cost me lots of money. But it's okay because this is unimportant compared to saving the United States of America. So I do it for that reason.
100% true. Now, of course, we know that the Democrats constantly try to distract and obfuscate from the very real issues facing California and a lot of the country like this. So, of course, they will resort to dumb stuff like, oh, but climate change. No. Homelessness is not the biggest issue facing California. Crime, cost of living. No. Climate change. Look at the wildfires. That's what we really got to be focused on fighting. Except President Trump also had a response for that too. In newsflash, it might have a little bit more to do. The kind of natural disaster problem that California has had in recent years may have a lot more to do with Democrat environmental policy than the actual quote unquote climate change.
You started talking about this community of Palos Verdes. You talked about California. We have fires raging to the east.
I agree.
What will you do to help people in this state whose homes are being damaged again and again, or are falling, off of these cliffs right behind us, or burned down, or for the people across the country whose homes are jeopardized by natural disasters?
This is my favorite question of the day. You're asking me what would I do for. Let's talk California first. Is that okay? You mind? So, I was riding with Devin Nunes and some congressmen 4 years ago. I was riding up north in California. And I looked at these fields that were massive. I was telling John, right? My favorite question. I love that somebody would ask me this question. And I never told you to do it, right? Who are you with?
Spectrum News.
Good. Spectrum. It's good. New, hot, right? It's hot. It's doing well. But that's because you ask good questions. So what happened, I'm saying why I look at this field, and it's massive. And in the middle of the field is a little spot of the most green, plush land you've ever seen. I said, and then I'd see another one. These little plots, like 1 and 2 acres, and you'd have 1,000 acres that's barren and dead and dark. And I said, what's the problem here? What is that green acreage? The soil is unbelievably fertile, but they have no water. I said, so do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. We have the water is cut off upstate, up in the north. You know that? And the water, in order to protect a certain little tiny fish called a smelt, they send millions and millions of gallons of water out to the Pacific Ocean, way up north. Never even gets close to here. And in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, all these rich areas, they want to give you like 38 gallons of water to use.
True, by the way. I mean, I grew up in California. I know all about this.
You buy a house for a lot of money and then you're allowed to use 38 gallons of water. But they you have no water down here.
Right.
And the reason you have no water, you have the canals. The reason you have no water is because Gavin Newsom didn't want to do it. I had it all done. I had the Department of Commerce at the time. Believe it or not, they're the ones that rule on this particular issue. So you have millions of gallons of water pouring down from the north with the snow caps in Canada and all pouring down. And they have essentially a very large faucet. And you turn the faucet, and it takes one day to turn it. It's massive. It's as big as the wall of that building right there behind you. And you turn that, and all of that water goes aimlessly into the Pacific. And if they turned it back, all of that water would come right down here and right into Los Angeles. They wouldn't have to have people not use more than 30 gallons and 32 gallons. They want to do that, they're trying to do that. And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests.
Right, but surely the reason California has no water, it's just because of climate change. All these fires are just because of climate change. I mean, there may be some truth in that, but let's also be realistic. It is mostly because of government policy, and very bad ones at that. So here's the reality, is that if you don't want the rest of the country being run like California, then you cannot elect into power the type of people who have been running the state of California, right? It's very simple. I'd argue even under the Biden administration, you've kind of seen that already, right? It's a lot like California, the rest of America. It's very expensive. There's a lot of crime and a lot of issues everywhere. There's immigration problems. There are shortages of resources, especially energy. Folks, Kamala Harris has been in power for the past couple of years, and she's already running the United States like California. So, you kind of do the math there. That said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, I've been Vince with RTM News. Peace.